My name is Derek Sullivan. I'm a Toronto-based artist. I'm an associate professor at OCAD University here in Toronto, and was born in Richmond Hill, Ontario, which is about 20 kilometers to the east of here, and have been based in this area for most of my career. I did my studies at York University for a BFA and did a master's at the University of Guelph. And to this day live at Dufferin and College Street in Toronto. I'd always been quite interested in wanting to go and research the land art works in the American Southwest. These large-scale works that are quite remote, and I'll admit it was less for me about the works themselves, but more wanting to get a sense of what the impact of these works are on the local landscape and the local community. What does it mean to have tourists show up in your small town in this to see an artwork? What kinds of relationships are built there? What kinds of stories are told about the works? I thought that could be a really interesting framework for a longer-term project. And then with the pandemic, was really reduced to not being able to make that kind of travel. And I think all of us started to think much more locally. And one of the things I became really conscious of was that kind of blind spot that I had held about the places that I was from. I grew up in Richmond Hill, and I've been based in Toronto all my life. And the big blind spot for me was I have an interest in wanting to chart the impacts of a land artwork on a community. And there's a major one 11 kilometers from where I was born, Shift by the American artist Richard Serra from 1970, and I'd never been. I'd always known it was there, and I don't quite know what that blind spot was, or I speculate what it is. I think there's this thing of that, it's the kind of, we decenter the local. We kind of address the art world happens in other major centers. The important things happen elsewhere. And this was quite a complicated way then to maybe think about it, because we had this American artist who was now probably considered one of the major American artists of the 20th century, making a major early work nearby. So although it's local, it's also not local. And in that shift, the project really started to come together about Shift, in that what would it mean to revisit the places that I grew up, that I'd also sort of turned my back away or put my attention elsewhere? How could I use a year-long site study of this work to kind of personally become reoriented to this place and start to explore the questions I'd thought of about exploring in these remote places to which I had no relationship?